The United States Department of Justice have accused Onyeama alongside his Chief of Administration and Finance, Ejirogene of moving more than $20 million from Nigeria through some United States banks in a scheme involving false documents based on the purchase of airplanes. Igaga, who is the International Airlines Chief of Administration and Finance, was also accused of bank fraud and committing aggravated identity theft in connection with the scheme. Now, the U.S. government, in the charges against Onyeama and Igaga, accused them of using the money laundered to buy luxury cars, including a Rolls Royce for $180,000 and a Mercedes for $88,500, amongst others. It was also gathered that Onyeama began a frequent trip to Atlanta in the U.S. in 2010 and reportedly opened several personal and business bank accounts. Between 2010 and 2018, over $44.9 million was allegedly transferred into his Atlanta-based accounts from foreign sources. Now, the development caused a lot of heated arguments among Nigerians on social media regarding the real nature of the fraud which the prominent Nigerian business mogul was accused of committing, especially when, according to Nigerians on social media, the charge did not indicate an individual was duped or defrauded. Now, for purposes of clarity, let me just quickly run through the offenses that Onyeama has been accused of committing according to the charge sheet released by the United States District Court for the Northern District of Georgia, Atlanta Division. Okay, we're going through those offenses when we come back from this commercial break. Join us again. Welcome back from that commercial break. You're still watching The Buzz, and before we took that break, we were looking at the alleged fraud and money laundering charges against the boss of Airpeace, Onyeama. Now, before we took that break, I wanted to run through the offenses he's accused of committing. Of course, let's not forget that two Nigerians are indicted in this particular alleged fraud, and that's Onyeama and Ejirogene Igaga. Now, Onyeama was charged with bank fraud and money laundering for allegedly moving more than $20 million from Nigeria through the U.S. bank accounts in a scheme involving false documents based on the purchase of airplanes. Then Igaga was charged with bank fraud and committing aggravated identity theft in connection with the scheme. Now, Onyeama was also accused of corrupting the U.S. banking system through the use of falsified documents, and he was also accused of using fake documents to prove he purchased aircraft from Springfield Aviation Company, LLC, a business enterprise in Georgia. According to the charge, no aircraft was purchased. The Airpeace boss was also accused of setting up numerous NGOs for the purpose of his alleged scam. Also, the businessman was accused of laundering over $16 million of the proceeds of the fraud by transferring it to other accounts. Summarily, both Onyeama and Igaga were indicted on 1 count of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, 3 counts of bank fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit credit application fraud, and 3 counts of credit application fraud. Onyeama was singularly charged with 27 counts of money laundering, while Igaga was individually charged with 1 count of aggravated identity theft. Okay, let's note that both Onyeama and Igaga are presumed innocent until the U.S. government is able to prove that they are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt at the trial. Meanwhile, a warrant of arrest has been issued against Onyeama, and the warrant was signed by Justin Anand, an American magistrate of the U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Georgia. Well, the Airpeace boss says he is determined to prove his innocence and has employed a legal team of luminaries to defend himself. All right, this is the biggest story online, been trending since the weekend. How did you react when you first saw the story?
Well, the first thing that I read it on the Facebook from a certain Georgino Morin, who itemized all of these things that you have just said. And I felt very first thing that came to me was that, wow, Why? Wow, because of what he has just done.
Exactly. At the last xenophobic attack.
Offering his business to lift Nigerians. And if you have followed the Facebook conversation, you find out that Onyeama has been one of the most praised Nigerians in recent time for that particular gesture. And again, like I usually say, 20 acts of goodness can be thrown into the dustbin for just one act of crime. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So, at the end of the day, I feel I'm not part of those who will say that the moment some people were trying to, on social media, play ethnic cards, why they beginning to bring what happened in the US to Nigeria, how the other ethnic groups are trying to rubbish the only one that is coming through and the rest of it. I said, no, nonsense. And I said, this is rubbish. This thing didn't come from Nigeria. And even if this man is found guilty in Nigeria by the EFCC will be constrained to do anything to him by just that singular gesture that he did. Do you understand? So that people will not begin to play ethnic undertone and the rest of it. Okay. Now, what I would advise is that it is very simple. In US, when it's not everybody that has been alleged to have committed a crime, go in for it. All right? And I think he has done the right thing first to assemble a team of lawyers. He should also do it well by going to US, submitting himself to the US authority. Do you understand?
Yes.
And if he prove himself and come out without guilt, I think it's going to be the biggest thing this country will ever celebrate. Do you understand? So I think with all of these things, all of this ethnic card that people are playing, I think it should stop. Something will happen today and somebody will come out and nobody is even talking about the Delta man who is also involved. It's only Onyeama that everybody is talking about. There is a certain Delta man that is involved in this particular allegation. So I think we should look at the merit of the whatever they are saying. Wait until the US, the US legal system is not like ours. It's not going to take ages before they've done with the case. It's going to be so swift because the entire world is watching.
Okay. All right. What do you say, Mr. Ezekamba?
Well, it's interesting to note that this is a man that I have found a soft spot, a man that Nigerians fell in love with recently.
Yeah.
By going to South Africa, his plans going to South Africa to bring back Nigerians pro bono. That was really wonderful. But like you rightly said, he is innocent until proven guilty. One thing we don't understand in Nigeria is that our moral and ethical or even legal standards are very low. So certain things we do in Nigeria think it's
and you get away with
it doesn't matter. In some countries of the world are considered outrageous offenses. A man pushes his wife in the US and the police arrest him and say you're charged of second-degree assault. I didn't even beat her, I just touched her. But the second, in Nigeria, you beat up your wife, push her to the trash can, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
So the same, I think, is the problem that these guys are beginning to have. The US, they've investigated this matter for so many years, so they are not really kidding around. They know what they're talking about, and they have enough information to indict him. It's not tribal, it's not racial, it's not political. Anything, it's just the law. So what he needs to do is go to the US and defend himself. If he's found guilty, let him go to jail. That's life.
Wow.
If he proves his innocence, that would be like a renaissance. He will come back a reborn in.
You can even build the brand of this country around.
Yeah. So that's what it is. Nigerians are introduced their distorted prisms based on race, based on tribe and religion. Oh, because he's an Igbo man. Oh, because he's from South. In this particular case, that's monumental nonsense. It has nothing to do with his tribe, his religion. He breached the law. Let him go.
Allegedly, sir.
Allegedly.
Oh, yeah, allegedly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Okoho, let me hear your take.
You know, like I said in our SMS exchange earlier, this is one topic I wanted to avoid talking about because it was Churchill Memorial too that I first read it on his timeline. And incidentally, less than 2 weeks ago, it was the same Churchill that raised questions around Onyeama's business. That he suddenly came from nowhere and became airpiece, big business, millions of dollars. Where did his money come from? I don't want to go to why it was the same churches that broke that news before premium tax and every other person in Nigeria. But I went to the U.S. Department of Justice website, where the whole charge sheets, the indictments were listed. And if you read it very patiently, not the interpretations of our bloggers and media people, if you read everything there patiently, you find out that our brother Onyeama must have to be very careful. What our people are bleating about, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, because an Igbo man is rising, they want to do him in stuff.
It's got nothing to do with it.
What I have seen is actually certain things we take for granted in our environment, but which constitutes very grievous crime abroad. Corporate governance. This man wants to buy a plane. He moves money from Nigeria through legitimate channels.
Through the central bank,
Through the central bank.
Through the central bank.
And then goes to America and moves the money into the bank account of an NGO that he owns. A company that is not really into airlines.
But the account is his.
The account is his, but that company is not registered to buy planes. So
as an
that company shouldn't be paying tax.
Wow.
It's a not-for-profit.
Okay.
So he shouldn't be paying taxes. But he's doing businesses that are taxable. And then when he takes that money from that NGO, he takes not all of them. That company now pays the airline that has the aircraft and leaves about $1 million or so in that account, in that transaction.
Non-taxable money. Let's not forget.
You understand what I'm saying? Who owns that 1 million that he has left for that charity? That company buys the airplane and then sells the airplane to a company that, as far as the U.S. legal system is concerned, are not related. One is a charity, one is a commercial business. It constitutes a breach in their law. And then economists are already working around the possibilities of round tripping. You send raw dollars in Nigeria, from Nigeria to that place, and then it stays in the U.S., passes through those channels, and that same dollar goes back through an NGO and probably finds its way back to Nigeria to him. What it means that he is going to chop at the official exchange rate of 362 naira to the dollar.
I get that. So that's money laundering.
So that's money laundering part of that about by economic analysis. Our people are bleating about probably his process of crime. Some people are even linking it to Niger Delta. What Onyeama and his lawyers should be thinking about is about the governance challenges in the transactions. Because the companies he used, which are actually registered in his name for some of those transactions, are not in the airline business.
I get that.
Every cent spent from that transfer has to be taxed by Americans. This NGO, even the arrival of that money, US has to make some money from that dollar transfer to that NGO. They are not making that money, even when it passes through their financial system, because it's a not-for-profit. But these are things, small things our people do and think is just normal.
These are things we do in Nigeria.
It's just normal.
No consequences.
So I pity him really, because our culture of, I beg, make that one pass now, leave her now. She been a just make a buy plane.
All right, let me throw in a quick question here. Well, like they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. But that also raises the question of some of our Nigerian businessmen, how knowledgeable really are they in terms of, the business laws, are they?
If you look at this man, you can't be at that level of business
and not know what you're doing.
He's a lawyer.
He came again.
He's a lawyer. You understand? And this
he cannot even do some of this business without also having counsel from that country
In the US,
advising you.
He must be working with some accountants and lawyers. When you handle so much
that volume of money.
Yeah, but it's a problem we keep running into overseas. The members of House had traveled overseas, and one of them grabbed a housekeeper who came to clean his house. In Nigeria, Abisa touched the woman. Does it matter? America, it's a big offense. They went to the parking lot and asked the security guards or parking lot attendants, can we arrange some women for us this night? In Nigeria, it's normal. But to America, oh, goodness me, this is sleazy. So we have to understand, and as we go overseas, learn that our standards
exactly
are very low.
Very.
So we have to read up or learn the expectations of those who are going to their country, you know?
Okay.
Because what this is going to do is that it may start affecting other people. I don't know who has read the stuff on Dangote. That he has more than 37 shell companies scattered around the world. And they are now saying all Nigerian billionaires operate in the same way. So if we are not careful the way we manage this one, and I'm talking about the level, that government level, in terms of making some kind of subtle interventions, if it will work, it may spill into other people who are at that level of business.
Okay, and affect them. Okay, now to bring you quick updates on this developing story, the United States government has seized $14 million in bank accounts linked to Allen Onyeama. Also, Allen Onyeama is also wanted in Canada over alleged multi-million dollar fraud.
No, let me come in there.
Okay,
because
all right.
people are ignorantly pushing that narrative. You is the same thing.
The same
US
thing,
and
okay.
Canada have this understanding. If you commit a crime and you are a fugitive of justice, once the US government writes Canada and vice versa, they look for you everywhere.
Okay.
So if you arrive in Canada, it's essentially the same thing. Because when I saw that one, I read it, and it's just because the US has flagged Onyeama.
So Canada too has to flag it. Okay.
Canada.
All right.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the EFCC has set up a special panel to investigate Allen Onyeama, and of course, let's not forget that Allen Onyeama might be extradited to face the charges against him because the U.S. and Nigeria have a mutual legal assistance policy that allows both countries to extradite suspects facing criminal charges. Okay, like you rightly said, you know, our sympathies really are with Allen Onyeama because, like we all agreed, he recently did a good deed, you know, in Nigeria, moving our brothers and sisters from South Africa, you know, free, you know, and moving them back to Nigeria, and then this is happening at this time. What do you think the government of Nigeria can really do in terms of, you know, mediating in this issue? I know it's become a legal issue, but can the government do anything?
This is a criminal
Nothing
case.
at all.
This is a criminal case.
Nothing at all. Wow.
This is a criminal case. When you talked about extradition, I beg to differ. There's this certain politician in Nigeria that the U.S. has been crying foul to extradite. That's Senator Kashon. Up to today, he has not been extradited. But however, and I think what Nigeria government can do is to also step in. It's a government relationship. They can step in and try to create a soft landing for him, for that particular gesture anyway. And I know that this will also go, like Iken said, go a long way to teach us a bit of lessons. You know, like Mazi said, in Nigeria we just flag the traffic lights. They don't care. But you can't try that in UK. You can't try that. Even if nobody's there, they will look up for you in your house and come and give you the chase.
There are cameras everywhere.
So yeah, in Nigeria, even if you drive past the last man flag and I say, were you there when I passed?
No, you don't go out by your window like this. Don't go out like this and go.
Babake.
So those little things that we just overlook are very serious issues somewhere else in the world. And I think we need to learn. We can't afford to continue to lag behind the wheel because this is a culture. We are beginning to see ourselves as people living in another planet when we go to other places. You can imagine what Mazi said that in somewhere else, if you meet a security man and said, please can you arrange some girls for us? In Nigeria, in fact, before you close,
there are special assistants for that
purpose. Special aids.
But a security man will just is here to think that you told him, you said that to him in the US,
Exactly.
he will go to my